Good day everyone, I am Miguel Rodrin Vance Papa from SBCS1B and I'm here to give you an introduction to one of the most prominent programming languages in the world, the Java programming languages. Today, we will cover three main topics under the Java programming language. Mainly, what really is Java and what is its history? Second, what are the features of Java? And lastly, what is the Java programming cycle? So without further ado, let's move on with the lesson. It's not uncommon for people to come across the word Java on the internet nowadays, be it playing games like Minecraft or even just scrolling through Wikipedia. But have you ever wondered what Java is? To answer that question, Java is a programming language created by James Gosling, now known as the father of Java, along with Mike Sheridan and Patrick Naughton under the company Sun Microsystems in 1991. It was first called Greentalk as it uses the file name .gt. After some time, it was changed to Oak as it was inspired by the oak tree outside of Gosling's office. During then, it was used for the Sun Microsystems Green project. However, due to the name Oak being already taken, Gosling and his team had to change the name, leading to the now widely known Java. Going further into its roots, the Green project was initiated by Sun Microsystems in 1991. Its aim was to develop a programming language for interactive television. Oak was then created for this purpose. However, Oak was too advanced for the digital cable technology available at the time. That's why Gosling shifted their focus into creating a new programming language, marking the true birth of Java. Now, moving on to the history of its versions. Although created at 1991, Java didn't release its alpha and beta version until 1995. And its very first version until 1996. After that, the versions are as follows: JDK 1.1 in 1997, 1.2 in 1998, 1.3 in the year 2000, 1.4 in 2002, JSE or Java Standard Edition in 2004, JSE 6 in 2006, JSE 7 in 2011, JSE 8 in 2014, JSE 9 in 2016, and JSE 10 in 2018. After the year 2018, Java has continuously evolved, with Oracle now being the owner of Sun Enterprises, releasing a new version of Java every 6 months. The most notable versions are the ones with long-term support from Oracle, namely JSE 11, which released in September of 2018, JSE 17, released in September of 2021, JSE 21, which released in November of 2023, and lastly, the most latest version, JSE 25, which released in September of 2025. Moving on to the last part of Java's history, the first ever Java project. The first ever Java project that was created was the Star 7. The Star 7 was a personal digital assistant under the Green project. The Star 7 was a prototype that showcased the potential of touchscreen technology and demonstrated how Java could create platform-independent animated user interfaces, laying the groundwork for future mobile and web innovations. In simple terms, the Star 7 would be the predecessor of the smartphones of today's generation. Here is a short video of James Gosling presenting the Star 7.
Hello, I'm James Gosling, and this is the Star 7. Star 7s were built as a part of the Green project at Sun Laboratories between 1991 and 1992. These are a prototype sort of handheld device that was built to do some exploration of some issues into consumer electronics. The Star 7 is in its guts as a SPARCstation motherboard. The screen is from a Sharp LCD color television. There's a 900 megahertz spread spectrum, 200 kilobits radio. There's a couple of PCM-CIA card slots. There's an infrared transceiver for talking to TVs and VCRs and that sort of stuff. And a couple of speakers off of a Nintendo Game Boy. The motherboard is just a MicroSpark 2 that's been re-engineered and shrunk down. And it had a lot of really exotic sort of flexible board technology. So now let's try to boot this thing up.
Now that we're done with Java's history, let us now move on to Java's main features. There are a total of 13 features that makes Java unique. First is that Java is object-oriented. This means everything in Java is treated as an object. This helps in organizing complex programs into simple, reusable pieces. Second is that Java is simple. Java is designed to be easy to learn and use. Its syntax is straightforward and similar to C or C++. This makes it familiar to many programmers. Third is that Java is secured. Simply put, Java provides strong security mechanisms. Fourth is that Java is platform independent. This is included in Java's slogan and is what Java is mainly marketed for. Write once, run anywhere. Java code is compiled into bytecode which can run into any machine with a JVM, regardless of the underlying operating system, whether it is Windows, Mac, Linux, or any other operating system. Fifth is that Java is robust. This means that Java is reliable and fault-tolerant. Sixth is that Java is portable, meaning it can be transferred easily between systems without modification. Seventh is that Java is architecture neutral. Java's compiled bytecode is independent of processor architecture. This means Java applications can run on any hardware that supports the JVM. Lastly, Java is dynamic, interpreted, high performance, multi-threaded, and distributed. This is what makes Java so unique and still widely used, even after more than 3 decades. Let us now move on to the Java development environment. The Java development environment is used for building Java applications and applets, which we will talk about later. An example of the Java development environment is the Java Development Kit, or JDK. Installing the JDK produces several folders in your system. Each of these folders holds pertinent files that would be necessary in building your program. For instance, the bin folder contains executable files for compiling your program. Now that we're done with the first 2 parts of the lesson, let us now move on to the last and most important part, the Java programming cycle. There are 5 steps in the Java programming cycle, namely source codes, compiler, bytecode, interpreter, and lastly, the output. To put it simply, the source codes contain your main program and is where your code would be. This would then be passed on to a compiler, which then converts that source code into bytecode or ones and zeros. This bytecode would then pass through an interpreter, namely the Java Virtual Machine or the JVM. This interpreter then converts that bytecode into the output of your source code. Let us now move on to the types of Java programs. There are 2 main types of Java programs, namely applets and applications. They both show the same results. However, applets run within the context of a browser, and applications are standalone programs and doesn't need browsers to run. Now, on to the last part of the lesson, Java program structures. There are 3 structures when it comes to Java programs, namely program, class, and methods. First, a program must be made up of classes, and then under that class contains 1 or more methods. A method contains program statements. This is where your source code would be. The main method. The JVM invokes the main method, meaning the main method must be declared public, static, and void. As for their meaning, public is an access modifier. It signifies that the method is accessible from any other class or object within the Java application. In the case of main, it allows the Java Virtual Machine or the JVM to invoke this method to start the program. Static is the keyword that indicates that the method belongs to the class itself, rather than to a specific instance of that class. And lastly, void is a return type. It specifies that the method does not return any value after its execution. A source file may have 1 or more classes. However, only one class, the class that is matching the file name, at most may be declared public in all Java applications. Now that we've covered Java's history, its features, and the Java programming cycle, this marks the conclusion of our introduction to Java. Once again, I am Miguel Rodrín Vence Papa. Thank you for listening.